Do it anyway.
Well, first I'll report that Harrison Ford has suffered a shoulder injury on the set of Indiana Jones 5 because he shouldn't be making Indiana Jones 5. What the?
You hush your mouth. He should make them as long as he wants to.
Well, I don't think he really should. Welcome to the Backpack Show, where we debate whether or not stars should have film roles as they're heading towards 80.
Where we bring you success from unusual places.
That one. Today we have an incredible lineup because yesterday we sure didn't.
That's ridiculous. Don't see things like that. That's so untrue. But today we do have an amazing lineup, so that part is true. We have Bhav Chahal, the co-founder of GoSkills, a New Zealand-based training company, and she is amazing.
Kia ora.
And we also have Kevin Ervin, who, if you might remember, a little while back, we featured Oliver Scholars and talked about how they help students, that really promising students, to get to resources they wouldn't otherwise have. So he has gone on to do great things with Change for Kids. He's the executive director, and he's doing some really cool other things that we're going to talk about in music.
We've got all the things.
Welcome to the Backpack Show with your hosts, Chris Brogan and Kerry Gorgone. Boom shakalaka!
Best-selling author Len Joy is in our audience for the first time
way
in about 75 months.
Len.
We're going to really
Len.
rename
I have
the
his
audience.
book still back there. He is an award-winning sports fiction author.
I think there's another one coming soon, too. In the immortal words of Rob Halford, you've got another one coming.
Papa Brogan is here.
My father, my biological father, Steve Brogan, joins us as well.
How many times my mom has come to the show?
None. I'm thinking none. I think we have to grab Bhav, and we have to talk about skills and learning, and how crazy that we get to talk about education in both segments. We never make the segments go together. It's on purpose. We try not to make them go together. So normally Kevin would be like, I don't know, an assassin or something. But
these two are so cool. They make me feel like I'm sitting at the cool kids table in the cafeteria.
Yeah, I never got invited.
Me neither. That's why this is so exciting.
So let's grab it. Bhav, how the heck are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm great. Thank you so much. Great to be here. I don't think I sat at the cool kids table, for the record.
Well, now you make the kids table cool, whatever kids table you're at. So amazing. So Bhav, we're going to talk about the business. Obviously, there's so much to talk about, but you've lived like all over the world. So for me, that was the most intriguing thing I first heard about you. I think you were living in, is it Berlin or Hong Kong when I first? Probably Berlin. So yeah. How did this happen? When did you just start like becoming a citizen of the world? Where did you live?
So I was born in Malaysia, and at the age of 10, my family moved to New Zealand. I spent my formative years in New Zealand, went to school there, university, worked there for a few years, and decided that I wanted to live in a big city. Moved to Sydney, Australia, lived there for about 3 years. And then I followed a boy to Hong Kong, lived there for 6 years. We started GoSkills when I was in Sydney. And right from the beginning, my co-founder was in New Zealand, I was in Australia. So we were remote from day one, and we just grew the company that way. And so after 6 years in Hong Kong, thought that might as well make the most of this, of the distributed remote company and live in places I like. So spent 3 months in Berlin one summer, spent a few months in New York. Now I'm in San Diego.
Because why?
Next? Where's next though? Are you already planning that, or are you just like...
Question. San Diego's nice, but it's still a tiny bit too cold for me. I very much love the heat. So maybe a little bit further south, maybe Mexico, or kind of thinking Puerto Rico or Costa Rica. Do you have any recommendations?
Keep going. No, I don't like it hot. I wouldn't have gone to any of those places.
Well, we have friends in all of those places, though, because Mexico City, we have our friend Horacio and Fatima Molina, the two actors. We have friends in Puerto Rico with, for instance, Raul and John Lee Dumas and a few others. In Costa Rica, we had a guest on who was living in Costa Rica for just a little while, and Her place looked kind of cool. So who knows?
Amazing. I'll hit you up.
We were talking to the film festival doctor. Do you remember she was living outside Mexico City and her power
That's
went
also
out.
who I was thinking about as well.
Her power just went out and then she was gone. We're like, oh no. So we'll have to have her back.
You sometimes don't have all the best power. I mean, Sydney obviously is a real place. So is, Berlin, but there's other places you might live that you don't get all the power. There's a lot of people who went back and started picking up skills during the pandemic. This business started years ago, but it seems like it was flawlessly designed. Bite-sized courses for the pandemic. You must have seen business just pick up like ridiculously.
Yeah. So last year we did see quite a large uptick in businesses looking for online training, especially in April. You can literally see the spike in our charts. So yeah, it did well during that time. We sell to both consumers and businesses, and to a lot of consumers, like individuals, weren't really sure about their financial security. So we did offer discounts during that time as well to individuals, and to allow them to do something while they're working from home and still feel like they're productive. But we definitely saw a huge uptick from, companies wanting to do remote.
So productive. I remember one of my bosses at the time saying, Don't spend all of this extra time on work. And I was like, what extra time? My kids are here doing homeschool. I am now.
But that's one of the selling points of your platform is it's bite-sized, which is, so I designed poorly courses myself for my company owner media group. And my first version of it was just like as many hours as I could stack into it and as much because I kept thinking value to people would equal volume, because that's how a lot of people buy. But I sense that probably since you started, you've tuned this, and as you've gone along through the years, you've decided more and more this has to be chewable. What are your modules like? What are the sizes like? If someone decides they're going to come and buy one of these things, what's it feel like?
Yeah, so you have a good point, though. People do see value in volume, and that was an issue we faced when we first launched. So when we launched, I sort of didn't like what I saw in the space. So we launched in 2013, sort of at the beginning of the whole online courses revolution. And I saw a lot of people just taking like hour-long lectures, what they would normally do in person, in class, and putting it online and calling it an online course. But I didn't think that was a great experience, especially because if you're learning online, like I've got multiple tabs open all the time. I'm constantly distracted. I'm not going to sit down and just watch a video for an hour. So we wanted very, very short, to the point, concise videos. So 3 to 5 minute videos. But then when we launched, all our competitors were selling, like what you said, volume, and they were advertising 20 hours of content or 30 hours of content. And we were like, our main course was an Excel course, and it was 4 hours of content. So it was hard to sort of show that that's actually valuable, that it's shorter.
Would you want to watch more than 4 hours of Excel content? I probably wouldn't. So what made you realize then back then that this was something to get into? Because there have been for years, lots of people making online courses, my esteemed colleague among them. So what made you look at that marketplace and think we can really make a dent in this? What did you do differently?
So it actually started because I worked at Groupon in Sydney, Australia. So Groupon, as you know, the Daily Deals website, they sell local deals like massages, restaurants, and things like that, as well as products. And products are defined as anything that can be delivered nationwide. And worldwide, the top selling product in both verticals was online courses, because it could be delivered nationwide. There was huge margins on online courses. And they were just ridiculously popular. Whenever there was an Excel deal, for example, it just sold like hotcakes. So that was my insight into the demand for online courses. I then went ahead and bought some of the top courses at Groupon. Didn't think they were any good, but I could see how much they were making, and I could see how it worked basically with Groupons and the commissions and how they were selling it around the world. So thought that we could create a high quality online course and sell it back through Groupon. So that's what we did. We launched on Groupons and other daily deal websites.
Well, so we all know that it's really easy to make your CV look like a straight line after the fact. You can go back and really peel it and say, I went from Groupon, you did the Stingray project where you're building apps and all that, right into GoSkills. That's not how it really went. But it really does seem like you were driven towards a particular line. Which is more true? Is it more true that you're able to retrofit your entire career now into this place that drives you to this running of GoSkills? Or were you like a 12-year-old at the playground digging in the sand thing saying, one day I'll make digital courses?
The hell was digital courses when we were at the playground, Christopher?
I'm just saying, some people are like that. Some people, when they're like, in the womb, are like, I must make a course.
I did used to sit my toys up and teach to them. I did that.
I really wish I could say something like that, like, oh, I was born to revolutionize education or something like that.
Right.
But absolutely not.
Say it.
No, it was absolutely a zigzag jungle gym experience. So my background is biotech. Molecular biotech. I really enjoyed maths and sciences in school, and I did a degree in biotech. And realized in my last year of that degree that I hated working in a lab. And I entered a student business competition at university and really enjoyed entrepreneurship. I then did a master's in entrepreneurship, really enjoyed that course, started a business. That didn't go very well. That failed quite miserably. And then worked for a biotech company. And then got this job at Groupon, which is absolutely unrelated to any of my experience. I actually only worked for Groupon for about 5 months. But because I had Groupon on my CV, I was picked up by an app development company to do an account director, I think, job, which was fine, but I didn't really enjoy it. And I was worried that they were going to fire me actually at that job. And so I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then I remembered, Excel courses sold so well on Groupon. Let's just try that. So no, it's not a straight line. It's a massive zigzag, messy maze.
But you waited. I mean, so you remembered that opportunity when you saw it, and then, brought it to fruition when the timing was right for you.
Yeah, that's right. Well, kind of. I mean, if I had enjoyed my job, I think after Groupon, I probably wouldn't have started GoSkills. I would have just kept working. It was because I was in this situation where I was in the process of being fired. And I didn't want to look for another job.
Well, this gets this is a better story the longer you tell it. Like pretty soon you're going to have been getting closer and closer to you with like a little box of tchotchkes off your desk getting thrown out by security. Just waiting for that story to evolve.
More or less.
There I was, back against the wall. The window was half open. There was a rope. So in the process, Kerry said to me and pointed out to me that you're also doing this scholarship, which you're calling the Scholarship for Women Who Want to Be the Boss. Yes. Talk a little bit about that project, because that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So basically, as a female founder, I've never really thought that, first of all, I went to an all-girls high school. So I don't think these are common in the States, but they're quite common in New Zealand. And in high school, I just felt like I didn't even think about gender, really. Like, I just thought girls could do absolutely anything. And really strong feminist values were embedded in me. And so I never thought anything about doing my science courses or doing entrepreneurship or starting a business. It was just really natural. And as I got older, I sort of saw that maybe I did have quite a unique experience, and I just wanted to share with the world that girls can absolutely do anything. And my experience is with entrepreneurship. And so I wanted to support other girls that want to start their own businesses and show that, that that it doesn't really matter about gender, and just to send the message that I'll make it more normal, I guess, for females to start their own businesses and change that imbalance that we sort of see in the startup world.
So I can be like, I'm not fired. I'm going to start my own business.
You can't fire me. I launched the company. I don't know how that sentence normally works. But listen, we have to go, and we have so much we have to move on. But
no, don't go away though.
Don't you go away, because we got to ask you some more questions. But one of the things I'm thinking about is just sell this damn company, because you have some more things to launch. Like, you're not done. You have so many next big things to do. Just get this one out of the way. Sell it. Linda, probably, give it to the LinkedIn boys or something. Let them make mistakes.
Boys, give it to the LinkedIn women. She literally supports a scholarship for women who want to be the boss.
Runs the courses at LinkedIn? I'll tell you right now, a bunch of dudes.
So, are those really good? Is that why GoSkills is doing such a brisk business? Because everybody else's courses are so
company.
good?
I don't care to who. That's just the one.
Right.
Sell it. So sell the company.
That's how you realize value.
Get out of there.
Can you help us with that, Chris?
I'm doing M&As all month. Let's go. I'll help you. And then listen, I just one side commentary thing here about, Carol was saying how she loves Excel courses.
Which I feel like tracks. Like, if you know Carol.
There is no one more wizardly in the strangest ways with Excel. She just thinks Excel can't and shouldn't do. Like, she's made an Excel time machine. So all I'm saying is, should you want
Excel can make biscuits.
Yeah. Excel is so powerful. It's crazy.
It's the things I've never seen it do, though. It's just anyway. So listen, stick backstage. We got to ask you more things. Sell your damn company. You have so much more to do. Bhav, Chahal, stay with us, but thank you.
But before you do, give all the employees stock, okay? Thanks.
Well, give them a little bite of it on the way out. All right, we're putting you. We're going to read some ads, and then we're grabbing.
Throw some of it in their cardboard box.
Everybody, you got to. Now's your moment. Okay, so listen, things to do. Want a podcast? Hey, would you like a podcast?
I would.
You know what's funny was Janice started saying "hey" after the ad yesterday. Dr. Janice,
you start so many trends.
Hey, would you like a podcast? You could get one. Castos.com. They're a great podcasting host. That's how we get the Backpack Show. Everywhere you can get podcasts. Don't like our face? Go to Castos.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Those two things are not related.
Would you like to launch your own video show? It's pretty easy. Just get your cbrogan.me/StreamYard, whack, and then find some good guests. Maybe someone who's way overqualified and running a corporation. She should sell.
Women who want to be the boss.
Right.
An Oliver Scholars alumnus.
And wait till you hear Kevin. Oh my God.
I know.
We have so much. Excited. So hey, cbrogan.me/StreamYard. Hey, would you like a .online domain? They're cheap. You get one for $1 if you want. cbrogan.me/online. Just use the code Chris in all caps. $1 for a .online domain.
It kills me that it's all caps. Couldn't they just do it like lowercase as well?
No, dude, I didn't write the code. Hey, have you ever wanted to watch another show? There's a show called Intercultural Spark that Deanna Shaw's sponsored. You can come and watch it. It's Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central. She's a really great interviewer. She's done way better with we've had same guests on both shows, and I watch her show and I'm like, hey, why didn't they say that to us? Because we're not Deanna. Hey, do you want a search engine that's not Google? Do you want to stop, giving it to the man? Presearch.com. It's a decentralized search engine. There's cryptocurrency involved. You could be cooler than all your friends.
Rewards. They don't charge you. It's like if you remember to log in, Christopher, they will give you crypto rewards for just using the site.
Presearch.com. It's really cool. I just read all the ads.
You are so funny. They're still talking about Excel, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Still out about Excel.
There's a bunch of nerds. So listen up, punks. We had I don't remember her name, but she was so lovely, from Oliver Scholars, and we learned all kinds of stuff, and it was just very moving. And we were like, well, come on, you got to find us like one or two really big deals from there. And they said, well, probably Kevin Ervin. Like, they didn't even have to. They didn't think about it.
Dr. Deidre Franklin.
Deidre Franklin. There we go. Thank you. Kevin probably hangs out with her. But so, we got the best one. We told him, forget about those other ones. They're fun, I'm sure. But
you're ridiculous. We actually have others coming up, so don't say that.
No, we get the best one first. Okay. Brooklyn in the house. We have Kevin Ervin. So I'm going to get him. Look at the studio that he's in. I have studio envy. Hey, Kevin.
Oh my God, so do I.
How are you guys?
I'm watching this Excel throwdown unfold in the comments.
Yeah, there's this big conversation about Excel.
I thank God for people like Carol because I have no interest in Excel. So.
Quick, save us from this.
I do my best.
You go
Wonderful.
to Oliver Scholars, or you become part of the project at Oliver Scholars. You do something. What's that like? What's the before and what's the during and after? Like what happened? Like tell us where you were in life when this all went down.
Definitely. So I am a black male, as you all can see, from Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, I was surprised too, each day when I wake up. And I was going to a public school right here in New York City. And my guidance counselor found out about Oliver Scholars, which at that point was called the Albert G. Oliver Program. And I went and they told my mother about these wonderful independent boarding schools in America and how they could really help me get into great colleges. And my mother said, absolutely not. He's not going to go away to school for the entire year. And then I have a Jewish mother who ran the summer camp that I attended each summer who said, he must go. You must let him go. So I went to Oliver Scholars twice a week, every week, to study for the SSAT, which is sort of the baby SATs. It's what you take to get into high schools that are privatized or independent schools. And it wasn't really a big deal to me. I sort of thought, if I get in, I get in. If I don't, I don't. Oliver really prepared us for the interview process and prepared us for the academics that we were going to see there, which were nothing like what I experienced in public school. And I was accepted to the Hotchkiss School, which if anyone asks or if anyone's honest, it's the best boarding school in America, probably in the world. And the fall after my 8th grade graduation, I was off to the races. One of, maybe 10 or 12 people of color in a school of 500 students, completely shell-shocked. They had, amazing food and who wants to eat school food? No kids want to eat school food, but we wanted to eat that stuff. We had dorm parents. We had socials. They had sports that I'd never heard of. I'm from Brooklyn. I only saw softball and basketball and flag football. And when I was playing soccer, I played soccer, ice hockey, and lacrosse. I was the only black thing on the ice hockey rink and the only black thing on the lacrosse field. There were tons of black
people don't play hockey, Kevin. That's not even allowed.
We do. Ask Anson Carter and ask Jerome McGinley. We do.
Okay.
We definitely do.
Chris, I have to totally give you a yellow card,
Kevin.
Because that's ridiculous. So I need a tiny sec to reprimand my colleague. If you'll give me a second.
Boom shakalaka! Yellow card, Brogan. And Brogan is going down like a bag of hammers tonight.
Watch it.
Sorry,
Watch
Kevin.
yourself, Chris.
Okay. We'll take it. Just look it up. PK Subin. There's a bunch of us. We're making it happen these days. And then I was afforded scholarships to go to undergrad at Northeastern, graduate school at NYU. And most recently, I've been afforded a scholarship 17 years late because they didn't give me one the first time around to Berklee College of Music, where I will be attending this fall in their inaugural New York City program. So very similar to Bhav. I didn't have a straight line. I tell young people all the time that success really looks like this. And that's what's happened to me.
Well, definitely reach out to the people we had on the Backpack Show from Berkeley's online program.
We'll get you some contact there so you can at least have some pals on the inside. We want to hear about Change for Kids before we go. I have questions from back, but we have some Change for Kids we need to talk about.
Absolutely. So Change for Kids, I landed it at this wonderful organization where we create opportunities for kids so that they can overcome inequity. At Change for Kids, we partner with schools all across New York City, about 5,000 students, where we look at what young people actually need, not just the academic side, not just the social emotional learning side, but we try to nurture agency in young people so that young people are able to not overcome the inequities that they face, but to demolish them. Honestly, I started working with young people and working with Change for Kids because I was trying to recreate my Hotchkiss experience for young people right here in New York City who look like I do, who come from where I come from. I didn't feel like, hey, I'm special, so I should be the only one who have these advantages. Every young person who looks like I do should have these advantages as well. So we've been kicking and screaming as long as I've been there. I mean, everything from music education, arts education. We built a fully digital system this past pandemic. I wish I knew Bhav at that point because I needed all the help that I could get. We opened a remote learning center this fall 30,000 square feet in the Bronx for 500 kids every single week, where kids were able to not have to be stuck at home, left to their own devices, literally own devices, where they could have vested interest from adults every single day. And we're actually having our end of the year carnival tomorrow.
Woo!
Yeah, but I mean, what have you actually done?
Kevin, let me ask you this question though, because as you were saying all this and you're talking about what you did for Change for Kids, could you have taken what you were given, the scholarship and all that stuff? Could you have just taken that and not given back? Is it like a requirement that you had to go and do all this, or is this just you doing this?
So it's not a requirement. We are, strongly instilled with service, both at Oliver Scholars and at the Hotchkiss School. But I honestly think I got this from my mother. When I was on my way to Hotchkiss, my mom said to me, I don't know if the grass is greener on the other side, but if it is, don't stay there. You learn how to plant that grass and you come over here and you plant it for us. I didn't know what that meant when I was 13, but when I got about 21, I figured it out and I started planting that grass right here.
That's a thing of beauty, because you could have dipped. You could have been like, well, thanks for that scholarship.
I got mine.
Yep. And you didn't. You said, I'm going to bring up other people. You're going to raise up more people. That's a crazy experience. I hate this question. But I keep wanting to ask you this question. If none of this had been made available to you, what would you have done?
I don't know. I think the worst about what my situation could have been, because I have friends and family members who didn't end up in the best places. I have friends and family members who ended up, in prison or doing some wrong things, or maybe I wouldn't have had the opportunity at this particular level to enact change. So I try not to think about the what ifs. I try to think about the future and bringing up folks to that desired, hopeful end.
Who's Jameli, by the way? I gotta dig in on this. Who's Jameli?
I have no clue who that is.
Oh, all right, because they're like your pal. I'm just letting you know. You have a fan. Yeah. So listen,
that's a very, very, very special woman in my life. Very special.
Good to know. So listen, the whole, what I asked that question, I hate that question. It's a terrible question, and it's one of those questions that feels like it could be racist. That's why I didn't want to ask it. But the other reason I ask it is because, I mean, people don't feel that hope. They don't feel that chance. They don't think that someone's going to tap their shoulder and go, listen, there's another way. Like if you have money, but you still have to put in the school, you still have to do the work. Nobody writes those tests for you. You got to do all that work. Right. But you did get a door opened that didn't happen to some people. So does that empower you? Hey, Joseph from the hospital. Good to see you, buddy. Wow, Joseph's here from the hospital. Patrick's sick.
Shouldn't do this, Joseph. You're going to get really excited.
I can't help it. I'm too excited. Kevin, what does that fill you with? Does that set you on a path? Like you're not going to buy like 5 burger franchises and call it good.
Absolutely not. Though maybe 1 or 2 if I get the opportunity to. But I think that I often tell people that young people in urban areas, those of color from places where I've come from, they will always meet the expectation. We have just expected them to do the wrong things or not necessarily the things that we think will, enact the change that we want them to see. We told young people from the hood, if you play basketball, you'll get out of the hood. You'll be great. You'll be great and you'll be rich. And guess what? We became the greatest basketball players. We said, if you play sports, you'll be able to do that. But we haven't told folks if you go to Harvard or Yale, you'll be the greatest at that. But when we start to really say that more and more than we say just, the NBA or the NFL or what have you, then you'll see many, many more people of color and from where I'm from going to Harvard and Yale. If you give us an inch, we'll take it for a mile. I didn't even need the door to be open. Just the fact that they cracked it allowed me to run in, and I'm going to meet and exceed the expectations every time.
Kerry, I've been hugging him.
I was just thinking that there's plenty of people who've had lots of opportunities to go to college and continue their education and are like, meh, and just don't. So, and yet go on to do great things. But I think what's interesting about both you and Bhav is that you saw opportunity and took it, and ran with it and have done great things with it. And both of you are giving back, which is so interesting because it's not like I chose you to appear together. It's like it just worked out.
This thing just lines right up. Hey, listen, you want to buy a software company? I've got one for sale now. They sell online.
I don't have any money.
Nobody needs money.
Get David Mulling.
Kevin, baby, we got money. That's what investors are for. We'll help you out with this.
Yeah, get
You
David
wanna-
I would
Rawlings
gladly
in on
buy
it.
it.
Here, I'm
gladly
bringing
buy
Bhav
it.
back in. Bhav, I got this. I got this
Get to steal them
prospective buyer
today.
for your company.
Yes.
What's he got to know about running your company? What do you tell a guy like Kevin who's going to the sky, and who comes up in a way that he came up like you did? He did get to go to the fancy school. He did get to go boarding. He get to eat good food, play lacrosse. I've never played lacrosse. What do you tell a guy like that? He's going to run your company now.
What do you mean? Go for it.
So listen. You're sitting at the board. You've done the last paperwork. You've signed the last thing. 85 lawyers are bloody on the ground, and you're handing over the keys to the front door in the washroom.
Yeah.
What's the advice? What do you say to him? It's your company now. How do you guide a person like this who's definitely going to run some company that I'm going to have to work at?
I think I would like the company to move to a next level, right? I'd like the same values that we have to be carried on in the future, and just like move it to the next level that it can be. I've never been in that situation before where I had to give someone advice on running my company.
Oh, well, Bob,
Yeah.
if I may, as an outsider, Bob has very high standards. And everyone who works for the company is going to meet them, not because she will like dress them down or something, but because if they don't, she'll make them do stuff again until they do. So they learn very quickly to just do it right the first time.
I'm extremely pedantic, and I am a bit of a perfectionist.
So,
Kevin, how did you deal with the perfectionist coming up? How did you pick that up?
I had a mother who told me to do it again when I did it wrong. So when I was younger, I used to want to sing like Cisco, not necessarily the thong song Cisco, some of his ballads. And when I was in the living room practicing, she'd come out and she'd say, that note towards the end was wrong. Sing it again. I was like, Mom, but I was just like sort of practicing on my own. She's like, great. If you want to do this, you're going to do it excellently. So practice it again. And I've just been off to the races since then.
See, I love that. So just do it again till you get better at it. I'm so excited about this. I don't know how you're going to pick a person of the day today, by the way. I have in mind who I would pick, but
really want you to sign it today.
No.
I abdicate my rule. The throne's open.
Okay, then. If that's the case, I'll run with it, but you got to be real sure you're ready to relinquish that responsibility.
Just today.
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
Bam. Person of the day.
Jameli.
There you go. Keep it in the family. There you go.
Gets you an apple. All you have to do is go to the store and purchase it and then wash it really good. And if it's me, I'm putting it into a pie. But you do what you want with it because you earned it.
All right. We have come to that part of the show where we ask every single guest who's ever been on what goes in your backpack. This could be something physical. It could be something metaphorical. Kerry, what's an example of something good physical someone could put in a backpack?
Extra set of teeth. You just never know.
Extra set of teeth. That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
That was from DJ Cummerbund, who's a mashup artist, world famous mashup artist.
And a wrestling fan.
And a wrestling fan. He is a Macho Man Randy Savage fan.
And a freelance butcher.
Freelance butcher in Brooklyn. By the way, he's in your neighborhood. And also he's new to Cameo. So he's one of those guys that you pay on Cameo to pretend you have friends. Or it could be something metaphorical. What's something metaphorical you could throw in?
I can never come up with anything good for this. Kindness. I think kindness.
Kindness. That's a really good one. Mm-hmm. All right. Bhav, what are we going to put in the backpack for you today?
So in my backpack for success, I would fill it up full of compliments.
Oh, that's a very good answer.
Thank you. Compliments, because flattery will get you everywhere.
That's what I always say about you is you've really got some great compliments.
Even if you don't take it to the compliment level, I think you're so right that like just treating people, like giving them positive attention will get you a long way.
Exactly. I think if you want to win someone over or get away with something that's not particularly by the books, just just dole out compliments. Be generous with your compliments, and
if you have to be seen doing it.
You want to develop a leader, you have to keep knighting people to make leaders. So wait a second. This just in. We got to understand what's up with this banana pudding.
In the backpack.
Is this scratch? This isn't like Jello brand banana pudding.
No. This is from scratch, from the deep south. This is something that sticks to your ribs and your soul. This is something that will make your life that much better. So this is something that anyone should carry that wants a happy day.
Is it just like banana and some sweets or something, or is there a little topping? Like
banana,
it's pudding that tastes like banana.
Well, there's pudding in it. There are actual bananas. There's vanilla wafers in it, but I can't give away all the secrets. My mom is, going to kill me.
Okay, don't tell mom. All right, Kevin, Ervin, we need to know what goes in the backpack for you.
Definitely. So in my backpack, I have 2 items, if that's allowed.
It's allowed.
I carry some Reese's sticks because in my life, whenever I'm happiest and most stressed, they bring me comfort. And I would carry God with me. God is my Amex. I never leave home without him. Every challenge that I face, every hurdle, every open door, he's been there with me every step of the way. So Reese's sticks and God.
That's a very interesting mix.
I like it. I think both are necessary in their place. I mean, Joe Jaffe just got off the surgeon's table yesterday. So
literally, yes, he had heart
literally.
surgery. Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure he's down for probably both.
Now we're talking about bagels. Apparently, I don't know what's happening.
Oh, Montreal has some great bagels, but
Carol says Leslie.
Not like New York.
Leslie's gunning for my job. Oh, here we go with the Montreal versus New York bagels thing. Don't, because she will send you a big ass box.
Way too many bagels to try.
I will take it. I love bagels. I'm a real life New Yorker.
With instructions on how to properly prepare them. Yeah.
So. My grandmother did have a vote in the bagel wars, by the way, being from Maine, of course, a total absolute authority on bagels. And what my grandmother said is the one way that you could really decide where the best bagels are going to